Hi, my name's Isaac Shutt. I'm an estate planning and probate attorney. I'm licensed both in Texas and in Wyoming. And in this video, I have to rant a little bit. That's because I think Americans do estate planning wrong. You know, I talked with a judge several years ago who handles a lot of probate cases, which is the court that handles wills and things like that after people pass away. And the judge gave me some sort of weird insight. At least it was weird to me as an estate planning attorney, because he said that he thinks that the way us estate planners do our job is not right. And I had to double click on that. I had to get a little bit more feedback on what this judge was talking about. And the more he talked, the more I saw the wisdom in what he was saying, and the more I realized that he was actually right. And here's what he told me. He said, you know, you estate planners, when you do your wills for your clients and things like that, you keep telling your clients to keep your will a big secret, to keep your will private, to not show anybody, to just lock it up. And so in that way, when the person passes away, the will is like this big surprise. Like there's this reading of the will after the person passes away, and it's this big surprise. And the judge tells me, why? That makes no sense. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized, yeah, in most cases, he's right. It doesn't make sense to prepare your will in secret and then hide it from everybody in most cases. So let me give you an example. Let's say you have a family business. A lot of our clients have a family business, or they have a lot of rental properties. They've got a little bit of complexity there. Well, guess what? If you do your will or trust and keep it a secret, and you don't talk to your relatives and your children about what you have, guess what? It's insane to deal with that after you pass away. I'm just going to tell you, as somebody who's probated over 1,000 cases in Texas, when your kiddos come into our office, and they're smart people, when they come into our office, they say, you know, is there some central database or something like that where I can find out where my mom and dad had all of their accounts and assets? I'm like, no, that doesn't exist. There's no central database that lays out where your mom and dad had everything. Well, you know, guess what? I don't know what they had. I don't know where they might have had accounts. And I'm really stressed out now about going through my folks' house to find out, you know, what were their business dealings? What debts did they have? What investments did they have? How am I going to help run that family business? Who are the key employees? You know, when you handle all of this stuff in secret and you don't tell anybody, even in the best situations, it is totally overwhelming for your relatives to deal with. But here's the even bigger point that the judge was making. When you do your estate planning and you keep it a secret from the outside world, the problem is the likelihood of a will contest or a trust contest are dramatically higher. And here's his point. If you do your will with an estate planning attorney and you actually involve your relatives in that process, how are they going to possibly claim years later when you passed away that you were crazy at the time you made your will and that you lacked capacity and you were forced at gunpoint to create that will? You know, those are all the typical ways that, those are the typical legal allegations that people make to contest a will or a trust, that, you know, you were crazy and you lacked capacity and you were unduly pressured by threat of force. Well, how can they claim that if they were part of the process? They were going to call you crazy to your face? Well, okay, they're going to call you crazy to your face. Well, then now you know that they were going to call you crazy at the time you signed that will, and you can go get a doctor's note. So by involving the family, you may actually not only make it a lot less overwhelming for them, you may dramatically lower the likelihood of an estate dispute after your passing. And you know, what I've learned from talking with a lot of people after the time I had that conversation with the judge is that this is sort of a uniquely American thing. This process that we've learned in law school and we've done millions and millions in times of our country, where you do your estate planning in private and you keep it a big secret, and then this huge surprise comes out after you pass away about what the assets are and who's getting what. That's kind of a uniquely American thing. I didn't know that. What I've learned is that a lot of other cultures actually integrate themselves. The younger generation is actually involved. They're involved more with their parents' care, but they're also more involved with the estate before the person's even passed away. They're involved with what's going on. They know who's getting what. In fact, in some countries, you do your will years before you pass away, and you go ahead and record it with the county at that time, basically doing the equivalent of a will probate, not after your death, but when you make the will. And the more I think about it, the more I think that really, really makes sense. This being secret and shocking everybody and having a surprise, it is a valuable consideration. Now, it's not going to work in every situation. There are definitely situations where privacy is the key. But I'll tell you, in a lot of situations, I think that open communication could make life easier for your beneficiaries and could limit disputes. So as you do your estate planning process, bring this up to your lawyer. Hey, attorney, would it be worthwhile in my situation to have a family meeting? Would it be worthwhile for you, attorney, to have a conversation with my beneficiaries about what the estate consists of or what the estate plan consists of? Might that be beneficial in my particular situation? That is a conversation that people are not having right now, and I think that's a huge mistake. I think people should be asking their attorneys whether or not it would be valuable to actually involve the relatives in the process, because I think a lot of times the answer is yes. There would be a ton of value about involving the relatives so we eliminate a lot of these problems. So anyway, I hope you found this video helpful. I hope you found it enlightening. I hope that when you meet with your estate planning attorney next, you'll ask, hey, would it be worthwhile for me to have a conversation with my relatives about what my estate plan consists of, what my assets are? Even though it's been seeming like that's a faux pas, I think that should change. My name's Isaac Shutt. I'm an estate planning attorney. I'm licensed to practice law both in Texas and in Wyoming.